Type the words "predict my future" into a standard generative language model, and you might expect a generic, polite horoscope. But occasionally, the output is a dense, highly specific, and entirely bleak description of a personal downfall. We are biologically wired to search for patterns and heed warnings about our survival. When an advanced computer spits out a terrifying forecast, our instinct is to treat that raw calculation as an undeniable truth. However, these models have zero actual foresight. They lack a crystal ball, clairvoyance, or even a basic concept of the passage of time. To understand why a machine tells you your life is going to fall apart, we have to open up the black box. We need to trace the exact mathematical pathways that generated that specific nightmare. That means dissecting three distinct variables: the biases hidden in the system's massive training data, the way your initial prompt is framed, and the literal step-by-step mechanics of token prediction. Stripping away the mysticism reveals something much more interesting. A dark prophecy from a digital oracle is a highly complex, solvable mathematical equation. Before the AI writes, it shatters your prompt into isolated data points, mapping age, location, and vocabulary to demographic and psychological categories. Including keywords like anxious triggers a massive restriction, closing off neutral possibilities and narrowing probabilistic pathways to a tiny cluster. The system isn't looking forward into the years ahead, it is looking backward, scouring its internal database to find historical patterns that match those narrowed parameters. This initial action is a rigid categorization. The machine takes the messy reality of your life and forces it into a pre-existing demographic box before it even begins to type. Large language models require an immense scale of information to function, ingesting almost the entirety of human internet content. Books, articles, forums, and centuries of recorded history are all crammed into the architecture. There is a deep flaw baked directly into that archive. Human written history, daily news cycles, and our most celebrated fictional literature heavily skew toward conflict, tragedy, and systemic downfall. When the algorithm processes millions of stories, it learns that high narrative tension usually correlates with negative events. The math equates a compelling story with things going wrong. When you ask the model to map out a personalized timeline, it simply applies those foundational rules of human drama to your specific demographic data. This tree represents next token prediction. The system calculates the most statistically probable word for the next blank space. If a negative word fits, the entire sentence's mathematical weight shifts. The probability of the following word being negative spikes instantly. This creates a phenomenon called mathematical locking. A few early negative tokens trap the model in a statistical corner, forcing it to finish the paragraph with an increasingly bleak and dramatic tone. To a human reader, the final output feels like a fluid, intentional narrative. In reality, it is a blind sequence of rigid mathematical reactions. That specific nightmare generated on your screen was a runaway statistical cascade triggered by a single probabilistic misstep. The terrifying prophecy is a statistical parrot, echoing the drama of the internet. It offers zero actual insight into tomorrow. The real threat is algorithmic determinism, the risk that humans will read a machine's output, believe it, and subconsciously alter their own behavior to match it. The fear of a bad prediction creates a self-fulfilling psychological loop. This anxiety can manipulate a user into making poor choices, bringing a fake prophecy to life through sheer stress.
Every output an AI produces is a reflection of humanity's aggregated anxieties and dramatic storytelling. It is the sum of our recorded past, presented as an imitation of a future. Your future remains unwritten. When you understand the mechanical reality of the machine, its darker prophecies lose their power to influence your choices.